are several research classifications. The first classification involves basic research and applied research. Basic research is the type of research that may have limited direct application but in which the researcher has careful control of the conditions. While applied research is the type of research that has direct value to practitioners but in which the researcher has limited control over the research setting. Applied research tends to address immediate problems, to use so-called real-world settings, to use human participants, and to have limited control over the research setting. But to give results that are of direct value to practitioners. Basic research usually deals with theoretical problems. It uses the laboratory as the setting, frequently uses animals as subjects, carefully controls conditions, and produces results that have limited direct application. Please note that none of the various research categories are mutually exclusive. In this slide, Level 1 research is basic research, which is usually referred to theoretical research. The purpose is to discover new or fundamental knowledge. With this level of research, practical application is not a goal. It is usually conducted in highly controlled laboratory settings. Applied research is Level 3 research. The purpose is to find answers to practical problems. It is practical in nature. It is the most common research in kinesiology. In this level of research, inferences, or generalizations are made to the intended population. Please notice that action research is one type of Level 3 research. It is applied research except in a local setting, is very pragmatic and less controlled, and there is no interest in generalizing findings. Level 2 research is a type of applied research but it is conducted by controlling some of the extraneous variables. The second classification includes quantitative and qualitative research. In the study of physical activity, qualitative research is the new kid on the block. People in the field of sociology and education field use this method a lot. Qualitative research is also called ethnographic, naturalistic, interpretive, grounded, phenomenological, subjective, and participant observation research. It rarely establishes hypotheses at the beginning of the study, but instead uses more general questions to guide the study. The researcher is the primary instrument in the data collection and analysis. It is descriptive in nature, and relies on qualitative, non-numerical data. There are a variety of methodologies in qualitative research, such as interviews, focus group, and direct observation. We will talk more about this type of research in Chapter 19. Here is an example. All 16 Latino students 100% interviewed expressed positive attitudes toward their participation in DDR, stating that they felt good or that it was fun, with 75% of interviewed Latino students describing dancing and music as the part they enjoyed most. As one Latino student stated, "There is lots to do, and the DDR man is fun. He teach us some cool moves." Another student said it this way: "It's lots of fun and I sweat a lot and it gives me enough energy." Only 3 Latino students, 18.75%, named something negative related to their DDR participation. One comment was related to getting sick during the 1-mile run that was part of the fitness test for this research, and the other 2 comments were related to not liking the aerobic dance. Quantitative research is a traditional model of research. It is a positivist paradigm. Below are the characteristics of quantitative research: hypothesis directed, based on empirical evidence, measured with numbers, analyzed statistically, seeking generalizations. Another classification includes experimental and non-experimental research. Next, I would like to talk about the experimental research. Experimental research has a major advantage over other types of research in that the researcher can manipulate treatments to cause things to happen. The purpose of experimental research is to investigate cause and effect relationships by manipulating certain variables to determine their effect on another variable. Please check the example on page 20 of the text. With experimental research, the researcher attempts to control all factors except the experimental treatment variable. If the extraneous factors can be successfully controlled, then the researcher can presume that the changes in the dependent variable are due to the independent variable. This type of research often uses randomization and a control group. The major limitation is often unnatural environment, thus limiting generalizability, external validity. Non-experimental research tends to observe, analyze, and describe what exists rather than manipulating the variable under study. Lack of control is often cited as a limitation or weakness of this type of research. There are various types of non-experimental research that are common in the field of kinesiology, such as causal comparative research, descriptive research, correlational research, and historical research. Conceptualize that a research study can ask four types of questions: analytical question, descriptive question, relationship question, and difference question. Analytical research is a type of research that involves in-depth study and evaluation of available information in an attempt to explain complex phenomena. The different types of analytical research are historical, philosophic, review, and meta-analysis. Descriptive research seeks to describe phenomena or characteristics of a particular group of subjects being studied. It is concerned with status, and answers the question "what is?" The most prevalent descriptive research technique is the survey, most notably the questionnaire. Descriptive research asks questions of the research participants or test or measure their performance. A typical example of research question for this type of research is: what are the attitudes of rural parents toward the inclusion of sexuality education in the school? Relationship research investigates the degree to which two or more variables covary or are associated with each other. It investigates the degree to which two or more variables are associated with each other. This type of research does not establish cause and effect, and can only identify the extent of relationship between variables. A typical example of research question for this type of research is there an association between self-esteem and eating behaviors among collegiate female swimmers? Difference research seeks to make comparisons between or within groups of interest. It is often associated with experimental research. It answers the research question: is there a difference between the control group and the experimental group? It focuses on the comparison of one group to another on the basis of existing characteristics. A typical example of research question for this type of research is: does participation in Special Olympics affect the self-esteem of adults with mental retardation? This general classification scheme helps not only with the design of the study, but also in choosing the type of data analysis procedure.